On August 28th, 2020, a group of gamers gathered virtually to play Dungeons & Dragons in my fantasy world of Chaldea. We convinced Tanel Lovett, a professional fantasy illustrator, to illustrate characters and scenes from the game. Jeff Grubb of TSR fame once told me D&D is 20 minutes of excitement crammed into 4 hours. After our game of D&D, I went looking for those 20 minutes and created a script based on those moments. Ironically enough, it did actually turn out to be about 20 minutes. Then I recruited voiceover actors to perform the roles of the 5 player characters and 3 of the NPCs they interacted with. And then I edited that into what you are about to see. Content warnings include murder, humor at the expense of a dim-witted barbarian and her only somewhat more intelligent ranger friend, and the use of the word dame in its historical context. Chattery, a remote, mostly human village near the Sholi Wollens in the Chaldea kingdom of Dorsang. Just after dawn, a crowd of shivering villagers is gathered around the dead, mutilated body of Yanni Longgrass, a young lad of Chattery. Yanni is the oldest of the Longgrass children, who are generally despised as out-of-control delinquents, the typical perpetrators of village mischief. Yanni's parents, Sean and Kara Longgrass, are kneeling beside their son's corpse, wailing, shocked, angry for justice. Dame Connery, the knight charged with the responsibility of this village, is trying to take control of the situation. She is accompanied by her strongman, Brute. She addresses Abraxas, the bitter village priest of the foreign god, Set.
What can you tell me, priest?
The wounds are from the long, sharp claws and bites of a large wild beast. And fresh. He died within the past few hours, during the first night of the week of the beast.
A startled gasp spreads through the villagers as the significance of the priest's words settles in.
Oh, is it a werewolf?
He's a werewolf?
Right, well, we're fucked then.
Mommy, I'm scared.
The week of beast. The 5th week of winter, when the Ennumian of wild, savage behavior holds sway in the Chaldea sky. The week of werewolves and other lycanthropes.
My son was murdered by a werewolf. Someone of this village. Someone who walks among us, pretending to be human. One of our neighbors.
The panic begins to spread. The villagers start to blame each other.
It's probably one of the O'Briens.
Who said it had to be human?
I think it was the gnome.
Yeah, it was probably the elf.
I bet I know who it is.
Dame Connery motions to Abraxas and some other prominent citizens of Chattery.
All right, I'm appointing you to investigate. Snoop around, see what you can find out. Suspect everyone. Even each other. Now, go do the business and come back and report to me at noon.
One of these other deputies is Sigfrida, known more for her brawn and skill with sword than her wit. She's a veteran of battle with the scars to prove it.
How many O'Briens should we kill?
Don't go randomly killing people. Investigate, talk to people, follow leads, and figure out who did it.
I have an idea. Abraxas smells bad.
Right. Abraxas, take the lad's body to the temple. Once you're satisfied, there's nothing more to be learned from the crime scene. Well, go investigate, and then come back to my place and report.
Yes,
No worries, my lady. I'm
Sounds
right
good.
on it.
We'll look into it.
Dame Connery leaves the crime scene, heading to her manor. Abraxas looks down at the boy, thinking out loud.
It could have been worse. It's not like this is a big loss.
Abraxas's insensitive remarks are overheard by the dead boy's parents, who were a bitter, angry couple long before their son was slain.
How dare you, you insensitive, arrogant arse!
Villagers nearby are likewise appalled at the priest's remarks, and their increasing outrage encourages Kara to new heights. Kara stands and gets right in the priest's grill.
My son has died, and not some peaceful type of death, like of old age or dying in your sleep. But he was torn limb from a savage beast, And all you have to say is, it could have been worse. It wasn't all that bad.
Abraxas is nonplussed. Stupid villagers.
Honestly, kept better track of your kids.
You're a beast. You're the werewolf.
You know, if I wanted to kill this kid, it wouldn't have been with claws. Enough of you.
Abraxas turns to one of the other deputies assigned by Dame Connery to investigate the slaying, Chadwick, an experienced tracker and outdoors person.
Chadwick, go track this thing.
Chadwick examines the periphery of the scene and finds some tracks. He follows them into the nearby woods. Siegfrieda follows. Sharia, a Marn elf, is an outsider to the mostly human village of Chattery. Sharia watches from the shadows of her second-story window as two humans approach from the nearby human village. She doesn't know them, but suspects this has something to do with the screams she heard from the village earlier this morning. The humans knock on the door. Sharia chooses to talk to them through the second-floor window. If they intend violence, she'll have some warning.
Come out, Elfie. Come out.
Who are you? Why are you here? And why should I come out?
Oh, Chadwick. What are you doing here? You bought this property.
I made an arrangement with the owners.
There aren't many elves around here. What brought you to our town?
The fact that there are no elves here is why I am here.
My friend Chadwick here is a ranger, and he came here because somebody died, and we're looking at you.
You don't know who did it, so blame the elf.
I don't like to boast, but I'm really good at tracking, and I followed beast tracks to here. Did your dog get out last night?
I do not have any pets. I guarantee you will not find any animals here.
Well, I'm stumped then.
Is there anything else? Chadwick?
Are you an animal?
No, I'm an elf. Unless you have anything else, be gone with you two.
Sharia closes the window shutters. Siegfrieda and Chadwick are walking through the woods, returning from investigating the mysterious elf at the Beasley plantation. Chadwick isn't too bright, but compared to Siegfrieda, he's brilliant.
I'm confused. Is she an elf or not?
She's an elf.
We followed tracks of a dog to her place. Why? From dead body to there. Is the elf a dog?
Maybe. She could be a werewolf.
Are we hunting a dog or are we hunting an elf? Also, Abraxas smells bad.
We should check that out.
Yeah, there were weird lights going on last night. And sounds. I live right next door and I couldn't get to sleep. And it smells like death.
Well, that doesn't sound good to me.
We should investigate that after. What were we trying to figure out again? Also, I'm hungry.
Dame Connery sits behind her desk. The 5 villagers charged with investigating the gruesome murder of a teen boy by a suspected werewolf are giving their report.
Abraxas, do you have any wisdom to share?
Most of the evidence points to an elf who had taken up residence in the abandoned Beasley plantation. Based on the report of Siegfrieda and Chadwick, I'm inclined to think the elf did it. Unless Alzu found something.
Alzu, one of the other deputies assigned by Dame Connery, and a gnome turnip farmer, gives his report.
I know who I think it wasn't, if that helps. Everyone was so worked up over the O'Briens that I went and checked them out. I couldn't find much damage. If one of them turned into a beast, it didn't happen there. I really doubt it was one of them.
Alzu is all too familiar with how humans can rush to judgment of non-humans. He is eager to offer another suspect. He recently saw Absinthe, the 5th deputy and town's bard, slinking away from the Beasley plantation. He decides to give her a chance to come clean.
Has anyone else had any dealings with the elf at the plantation?
Absinthe, stressed, tries to clear her name.
Well, yeah, I was out there. Look, I don't feel comfortable sharing my dirty laundry. Okay, let's be honest. I do share my dirty laundry and too many of my thoughts, but I really do believe my ex is fooling around again, and I was trying to figure out where he was going. I hate that guy.
Connery seems satisfied with this explanation.
Oh, Braxis, your barn smells bad, and there were lights coming from it. Kept me up all night.
Abraxas casts a light spell on his shield.
Light is what I do! And I've recently taken up taxidermy. I know it's unpleasant, sometimes odoriferous, but it's a hobby and something to pass the time in this shitty village.
Werewolves don't need a motive. I'm more interested in where the tracks led. Chadwick.
Aye, she means the Beasley mansion, where the elf lives. This seems to be the best lead.
Alzu, who do you think is guilty?
Yeah, man. Somebody's definitely guilty of killing that kid. That's definitely true. I spent a lot of time figuring out who didn't do it. I can't really come down on anybody just yet.
Okay, our best lead is the elf. Go arrest her. Bring her back alive. I want to question her, and if she's guilty, the villagers deserve to see her hung. Oh, bring her back before nightfall. You don't want to give her the chance to shapeshift once more.
Early afternoon, from the second-floor window, Sharia watches the 5 deputies approach. Abraxas, Sigfrida, Chadwick, Absinthe, and Alzu. They pound on the front door.
Elf, come out!
Why have you returned?
We've come to arrest you. And your dog.
There are no animals
Ignore
here.
the idiot barbarian. By the orders of Dame Connery, exit this house. You are under arrest.
There's no dog.
Give me a moment.
There are noises from the elf's movements within the house. Eventually, she opens the front door. She does not look like what any of the villagers would expect an elf to look like. Instead of a beautiful, ethereal elf of supernatural radiance, Sharia is rugged, on edge, adorned with spiked hair, marngraphs, and tattoos. She is fidgety, skittish, some might say paranoid.
I will accompany you to see Dame Connery, but I do not consent to be shackled.
As long as your dog is on a leash, that should be fine.
I don't have a dog.
We followed a dog's tracks here, so where's the dog?
Yeah, you leave it alone.
Sharia ignores Dumb and Dumber and strides toward town. The deputies struggle to keep up. Sharia and the deputies arrive at the village square. They pass a hanging tree where Brute holds up a noose, looking through it at Sharia as if to see if it would fit. The villagers come rushing out, eager for blood. Elf hate spreads through the village. Mob mentality is in full swing. Dame Connery comes out of her manor.
You sent these idiots to arrest me? What gives?
We have evidence that you're a werewolf and that you killed Yoni Longgrass.
That's bullshit!
Restrain her!
The marngraph on Sharia's chest lights up in a dark greenish hue. Tendrils sprout from it, spreading across her torso like armor. The tattoos on her arm pulse with blue energy. Sharia adopts a martial arts pose. Sigfrida steps back and draws a great sword. Chadwick draws his bow and notches an arrow. Abraxas prays to Set for blessing. Alzu draws his rapier. Absinthe tries talking.
Whoa! Ease down. We're just trying to figure out what's going on.
Unfortunately, hate and suspicion carry the day.
You need to surrender to us, now.
Sharia moves with a blinding, supernatural speed, punching Alzu so hard his eye almost popped out, kicking Sigfrida in the chest, doubling her over, ribs cracking. Chadwick fires his bow at Sharia, but she is so fast she literally dodges it. Absinthe, realizing the time for bardic persuasion has passed, casts a spell, putting Sharia to sleep, in spite of her elven resistance against such magics.
Sigfrida, tie her up!
Sigfrida is quickly lost in thought on how best to proceed.
Never mind. Chadwick, you tie her up.
After Sharia is awoken, bound and gagged, Connery passes judgment.
Your actions have betrayed you. Brute, proceed with the hanging.
Yes, yes, yes. Hang the elf, bitch.
Later, Sharia is dead, hanging from the tree.
We killed the elf, but the dog is still on the loose.
Early the next morning, another scream. Abraxas, the priest, or rather the former priest, is found brutally murdered, torn limb from limb, impaled on the sacred khopesh of the altar of Set. The villagers come out. Horror, terror, madness spread through the village.
I didn't think it was the elf.
Malarkey! You said so yourself!
But now the priest!
The Setites got what he deserved.
Go off about down on her, please. Mommy, I'm scared.
My son's killer is still at large.
Inside the temple of Set, Connery stands with the 4 remaining deputies, Sigfrida, Chadwick, Alzu, and Absinthe.
Well, looks like we made a mistake.
Unless there were 2 werewolves.
Either way, one is left. We need to get to the bottom of this.
We killed the elf, but the dog is still out there. We need to find the dog.
Chadwick, what is she on about?
Sigfrida thinks the werewolf is a dog.
Sigfrida, we agree. The dog, meaning the werewolf, is still out there.
Sometimes barbarians need to be seen and not heard.
So you think Sigfrida is the werewolf?
I'm just saying, she seems to be pointing fingers at a lot of places. Let's go here, let's go there.
I'd like to go look for tracks around the new murder scene.
Good idea. Go see what you can find. Alzu, you look like you want to say something.
The thing I heard was that the elf was probably the one. I'm stumped. I'm happy to help look, though. Something's obviously out there.
Sigfrida, I know it's difficult to get past the dog on the loose, but the rest of the time when it's not attacking, it's a gnome or an elf or a human or something else, not a dog.
A gnome? Is Azul the werewolf?
I was just using the gnome as an example. Wait, do you think the gnome is the werewolf? Does anyone else think the gnome is the werewolf?
Well, the gnome is different, and different is bad. So maybe.
We should hang the gnome.
It's his honey to hang, aren't they?
That's right. Everybody knows that. Don't even bother.
Once again, Chadwick and Sigfrida follow the tracks from the scene of the crime. This time, they lead to Sigfrida's home. As Chadwick and Sigfrida approach, her 4 dogs start barking wildly.
What the hell, Sigfrida? You have 4 dogs.
Yeah, I have dogs, but not the kind that kill things.
Why did the tracks lead here then?
Is one of my dogs the one that killed the others?
I'm going to have to report you to the night lady.
What if she's the dog wolf thing?
Could be. We'll let her decide.
The 4 remaining deputies gather around Dame Connery's desk once more.
There is still a werewolf among us, and the village is in dire peril. Tonight, the werewolf will strike again if we don't kill it first.
The tracks led to Sigfrida's house.
No offense to Sigfrida, but she doesn't seem smart enough to pull it off.
Pulled what off?
Exactly.
Absinthe, what did you and Alzu discover?
We found nothing at the plantation that pointed us to something new. I think the evidence is pretty strong that someone in Sigfrida's house... Is someone staying with you, Sigfrida? Wait! Is my ex-husband staying with you?
No, I left him for someone else about a week ago.
Was anyone at your house last night?
No, just me and my dogs. You're thinking I did it, but I didn't. The gnome thinks you did it, so I think you did it.
You can think all you want, but the tracks went to your house. And you can play dumb all you want,
I don't play dumb. I am dumb.
It was dumb messing around with my husband, that's for sure.
Did you look inside Sigfrida's house? Did you go in?
Nay, I didn't check her house. We should go look inside.
I want all of your houses searched. Obviously by someone other than yourselves.
After the deputies search each other's houses, they return and report to Dame Connery.
Alzu, what did you find in the house of Absinthe?
Signs of mayhem. Her loot was shattered, the table was broken, and stuff was strewn all about the room.
Siegfrieda had an affair with my husband. I couldn't handle it. I broke down and crushed my loot. Oh my God, it was given to me. That stupid loot was a reminder of that awful man. But if I were a werewolf, I would have killed him. But I wasn't. I crushed that loot because I hate him. And that is the last remnant of my husband. That's why I broke it last night.
That's compelling. Absinthe, what did you find at Alzu's house?
He has a lot of knives. I mean, a lot of knives. Many knives, very sharp. And meat hooks and cleavers, all very sharp.
All for home defense. I'm small. I need weapons.
Creepy, but hardly an indictment. Siegfrieda, what did you find at Chadwick's house?
He has lots of alcohol and animal pelts, including a dog pelt.
Huh. Chadwick, what did you find at Siegfrieda's?
What a mess. She's not much of a housekeeper. There are bones all over the place, animals and humanoid.
Humanoid or human?
Human.
Siegfrieda, do you have anything to say for yourself?
Dogs bring home bones and chew on them. Dogs come and go.
Everyone looks at Siegfrieda with apprehension. Siegfrieda looks guilty.
Maybe one of my dogs is the werewolf.
No, Siegfrieda, you are the werewolf.
Oh.
Just before sunset, Siegfrieda is hung. For the rest of Beast Week, the villagers of Chattery sleep peacefully.